This facial, I swear it's like high risk, high reward kind of thing. Like, it takes a lot of effort to make it look right. Yeah. Look at that. It's a lot better. Hey guys, today I'm gonna look at my TASM 2 facial from Iwanzonakaos. I think I'm pronouncing that name right. I practiced this and I still feel like I'm saying it wrong, but yeah, anyway, so this facial is his facial from his Etsy store. It's from the Amazing Spider-Man 2 design, from that 2014 film. And I think it goes without saying that that suit is a lot of people's favorite, live action suit, just because of like how comic accurate it was, from like, the big eyes. And I think how well it just translated onto the big screen, and especially just in such contrast to the suit in the first film that Andrew Garfield was in. That was a more sort of realistic, sort of sporty vibe that he was going for. But then I think they decided just to sort of go back to the origins and just really go for the whole comic style suit, which I honestly think looks so much better. And I think till this day it's still one of my favorite suits of all time. I still haven't got myself a TASM 2 suit, but it's on the list. It's on the list. And I think the big eyes really helped set it apart from the previous suit and previous suits prior to this. The Tobey Maguire one, because you can just see, like, with the big white eyes. Some people prefer the Tobey Maguire suit, but I personally prefer like the bigger lenses. Again, I think it's just down to personal preference and everything. So this facial was actually the first facial I owned. Since then, I've bought 3 more, which is probably more than any person needs, but I was quite picky. Each of them will probably get their own individual video just to highlight each one in their video, and then I'll just compare all of them together. But anyway, like, a facial just really helps you achieve that more, I guess, film accurate / comic accurate look than just wearing the sort of material over your head, just because it gives you that sort of defined shape, it gives you that like chin, and just, I don't know, I personally think it looks a lot better for me anyway. I am not blessed with that natural face shape that looks really good, that I know some people can pull off, and they get to save a bunch of money, but I digress. Like, the facial just puts like a layer, like a solid layer between you and the fabric, and personally I find it's a lot easier to breathe and talk just when wearing the mask, which I think justifies, just more justifies the sort of price of each facial, because I will say facials aren't exactly cheap, which I will get into. But yeah, like, I'll show you the difference between when I first started and I didn't wear a facial at all, compared to like when I started using this facial. Like, I'll just put them like side to side or something so you can see. I got this facial from Iwanzonakaos, and it took about 8 to 10 weeks for it to ship and arrive. I think it was because when I ordered it, it was during Ramadan, so I think that's why it caused a delay. He did let me know that this was the case, which, yeah, I'm like, fair enough. I'm not gonna like belittle anyone for celebrating a holiday, but if you want to order it, it usually would take about 6 weeks, I think he said. So yeah, just bear that in mind. It cost me about $120, yeah, that's excluding shipping. That'll probably vary depending on where you live though. But yeah, $120, so it's a bit pricey, but I think that's about like the average price for a facial nowadays anyway. Again, I will show you other facials in the future and just sort of compare the price, but overall I would say that's how much I paid for like each facial. So yeah, I bought this facial by DMing him on Instagram and just simply asking, oh, how much is this face shell, that kind of thing. Alternatively, you can go to his Etsy page, which is probably a lot easier if you just want a more straightforward thing, but I think, you know, he is open to like any questions you might have, which again is really good if you're unsure about anything, or this may be your first time purchasing from him. So yeah, the communication was really good. You know, he always kept me up to date with like where it was. There would be times where I would have to just sort of ask, oh, you know, how is it coming along, just because I wouldn't hear from him for like a few weeks, but he would always reply fairly quickly. The face shell itself is made out of a resin material, I think it is. Obviously correct me if I'm wrong. So it's fairly lightweight, it's not really too heavy at all. I think the lenses are made out of a similar material, and they've been painted to have this sort of glossy black color, which actually looks really great on the camera and obviously in photos. The lenses are also fog free as well, which is what I would just recommend to everyone getting. Just get fog free lenses with any face shell you get, just because you're going to be wearing it for, you know, a decent period of time, I assume, and you don't want your, you know, your vision to be obstructed just by breathing. So yeah, having lenses fog free really does help, because if it's not, just as you talk and as you breathe, you're just gonna be unable to just see anything in front of you. Everything's just gonna be foggy, and yeah, it's just not practical at all. Yeah, like fog free lenses might be a little bit more expensive, but I think it's definitely worth it. But I do think it is now the sort of standard, so I don't think you'd have to worry, but always double check that the lenses are fog free. So yeah, this face shell looks really good on a lot of suits, just because I think it's got more of that sort of iconic big white eye aesthetic that you see on a lot of Spider-Man suits anyway. So it really does suit a variety of different suits. I think you could wear this face shell with a lot of different Spidey suits anyway, and it really wouldn't feel out of place. So it's, you know, it's quite versatile in that sense, since you can see me wearing it with the PlayStation 4 Advanced suit and the PlayStation 4 OG suit. Inside the shell, it's got some upholstery foam already glued in, so you don't have to do that yourself, just because I know a lot of face shells don't already have upholstery foam glued in, and it's mainly just for like comfort, you know, after just wearing it for long periods of time. So it was really good that it was already put in there for you, and so, you know, I could wear this face shell just for long periods of time without, you know, getting any pains or anything from like the face shell, you know, crushing or squeezing my face too hard. So yeah, I do really appreciate that on this shell. It also has a strap in the back as well, which I don't think is necessary, but I guess it does help keep the whole face shell secure. You know, it might just stop it from leaning forward, but due to the nature of like the fabric anyway, I would say you wouldn't even really need a strap to help keep it secure onto your face. And I know I personally find that the strap gets in the way when putting it on, and yeah, I don't know, it just makes it more of a hassle putting it on, honestly. I swear, yeah, it just gets in the way, it gets in the way. Look. My head is fat enough to like secure it on its own by the sheer mass of my head. I will say, it's a lot easier when you have someone to help you get in. Moving on to the magnets, you can really tell that they are very securely fastened within the face shell and the lenses, so the magnets aren't going to come out or fall off in an accident or whatever, and it just sort of ensures that you know, as you walk around, the lenses aren't gonna fall off, you know, when you're, you know, at a con or something. I've never had that experience. I've never had any trouble with the strength of the magnets. So, you know, you can rest easy that they're not gonna, you know, fall off. I do have to mention though, even though the lenses are quite secure onto the face shell and you may not have to worry about them falling off, I will say you do have to be very careful with these lenses, just because if you drop them from even, you know, like from 2 feet, they are likely to break or have visible damage just because of the material they're made from. They are prone to damage. You can probably see where I've cracked my lens. I don't know, you might not be able to see it. It might be hard to see because I've like colored it in with a black marker, but yeah, I've chipped my lens in 2 different places essentially, just from dropping it from, you know, a few feet off the ground. So I will say, be careful. The same can be said about the face shell itself. It's still quite rigid, but due to the material, it can be quite fragile as well, especially around like the thinner areas of this face shell. And yeah, as you can see that I've damaged it just from trying to put it on by using too much force, or I think I damaged it when I just put it in my suitcase and I was traveling to another con, which wasn't ideal. So again, I do have to reiterate, just take care when handling this face shell in particular. It doesn't seem to just be me either. I've seen that other people have had issues with just the, I guess, build quality, or just how fragile this shell from this company is, just because, you know, I've seen on the Spidey Facebook group, I'll link it down in the description below, that a lot of people have had issues of their shell or their lenses just cracking, essentially just shattering basically. And I'm glad that it's not just me, but yeah, it just sort of shows how prone this shell is to damage. Going back to the lenses, even though they are fog free, the visibility isn't always great. I think it's just because the white mesh that's used, yeah, it's like good, you know, sturdy quality, but I think they are a little bit too thick, and the holes or the gaps, there's just not that many of them. So when it comes to actually looking through the lenses, you only can see like a few feet in front of you, and after that it all just becomes a bit hazy. I'm not sure if the camera will be able to pick that up, but you know, when I've worn this shell at a con, I would usually have to have a few friends help guide me through the really busy areas of the convention. I will usually just try and walk around without a mask on and only put it on for photos, but you know, that's just me. But yeah, I'm just letting you know about the visibility. I'll also add, due to the material of the face shell, like the resin sort of material, it can be difficult to sort of line things up on the shell when you put the mask on, because you can see that like wrinkles start forming, and you know, it's hard to like make sure the eye holes line up with your lenses. And I think it's just because the fabric doesn't really have that much surface grip to, you know, latch onto, just because the face shell is that smooth, which can be a bit annoying to sort of deal with when you're trying to put your face shell and mask on at the same time. And it's just, you know, it just adds another layer of difficulty or hassle when trying to get into your cosplay. I think a solution what you could do is spray it with some primer, just so that when you put the mask over the face shell, there's just more of that sort of surface to hold on to. So, you know, so the mask doesn't move around as much when it's on the face shell. So overall, I do think this is a good face shell. It looks great with most suits. So, you know, you get your money's worth by being able to wear it with multiple suits. It looks great in photo ops and everything. I will say, do take extra caution when handling this face shell, just because, just compared to other face shells I've owned, this is by far the most fragile one there is. Again, visibility isn't the best in this face shell, even though it may look okay. Like it could still be better, like compared to other face shells out there. So yeah, I think just bear that in mind, and again, be really careful when handling this face shell, just because yeah, it is a lot of money, and you just wouldn't want to waste that money if you accidentally dropped it and it just shatters, and you know, that's basically your hopes and dreams gone. So yeah, I think that covers about everything. If you have any more questions, just leave them in the comments below, or you can just find me on Instagram and just send me a DM, because I'll most likely be able to respond to that just a lot quicker. But yeah, I'll link everything I've talked about in this video in the description. And yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time. Oof. Oof. That was a nightmare fuel right there.